Hi.
Hi.
I'm Stephen George.
Hi, Stephen George.
Man, it's weird. There's like all these chairs, and I'm just here in the center.
But you can hog all the chairs for yourself. You can
lie on it.
I'm sure you've wondered why I've called you all here. So first question. Who is already familiar with our content? Okay. Okay, so a large majority of you. Okay, cool. So when they asked me to do the panel, I was like, panel? And then I was put on the schedule. And originally I was thinking I was going to do kind of like an AMA because I've been a full-time YouTube creator for like 7 years, which is a while to be doing this and still be sane. But because there's so many of you that already know a lot about us, we're going to change it up a little bit, and this is going to be more of like kind of like a live Q&A type thing. Now, if you have any questions about YouTube or what it's like to do this sort of thing, God, for so long, feel free to ask. But for the most part, this is just going to be your chance to interact with me live in a place that's not Twitch, so you can just ask questions and get immediate feedback, or I'll get back to you on that because I don't know. But hopefully I'll yeah. But hopefully I'll be able to answer your question. So originally, whenever I wasn't sure how many people were going to be here, because I was like, it'll probably be like a few people that know us, and then like most people will have no idea. I was going to explain who I was. But since you guys know that, I'm going to skip all the formalities and just say, who's got a question? Great.
So what's it like to do this sort of thing for this long?
The first thing that pops in my mind is the word exhausting. So I'm going to answer with exhausting and go off of that. We have made so many videos. At this point, for the last like 3 or 4 years, we've been outputting over 1,000 a year, usually in the range of like 12 to 1,300. And we only got an editor like a year and a half ago. So up to this point, we've been doing everything ourselves. And doing this sort of thing for this long has been exhausting. Generally, the way this sort of thing works is that like you might have like viral success, and you have like a video or a series that everyone learns about, and you're putting out these videos that are bringing in lots of views. And we have went about it entirely the wrong way, where we have focused on things that we really want to do, even if they're not popular, even if they're 1997 Windows games that no one has ever heard of. And unfortunately, by doing it that way, it's required us to, in order to survive, to put out a lot more content. With the advent of Patreon, shout out to patrons, I know some of you are here, it's made things a lot easier, but then also YouTube has changed a lot, and it's gotten to the point where sometimes it's not going to work out exactly like you think it will. Sometimes your video will get demonetized. For a few months, you couldn't put the word dead in a title. Yeah, they made The Walking Dead very, very difficult to do. Eventually they patched The Walking Dead because they're like, oh, that's like a thing. And I'm like, thank you. But then if I made like a memorable moment that was like, dead guy, they'd be like, no, dead. So that sort of thing has been extremely difficult. I mean, I haven't met the guy, but I don't know if we'd be buds. Other questions? Okay, you.
I have 2 things.
Sure.
What is your favorite memorable moment, and what's your favorite one of Mouth Paintings?
These are both the hardest questions I've ever answered.
Mouth number 2.
Yeah. So we've released over 1,000 memorable moments at this point. One of my favorite ones of all time, hopefully some of you will remember this one. There's a point early on in GTA Online, we're all playing this game, this mini game called Top Fun. And in Top Fun, you are all in these. There's 2 teams, a set of fighter jets instead of people in cars. And the people in cars are trying to get from point A to point B without being shot down by the people in the fighter jets. And my team, we're up in the jets, we're doing good, and Josh Jepson is playing with us. Bless his heart. He says, "How do I shoot the gun?" And someone from the other team says, "Josh, you press Y." And if you're not familiar with the controls in Grand Theft Auto Online, Y takes you out of the plane. So Josh was like, "Okay." 3 seconds later, "Oh no!" And I'm like, "All right, we didn't need your help anyway. No problem." As far as Mal's paintings, that's truly difficult. There's been a few within the last year that have been amazing. Majora's Mask is one of my favorites. The purple Pallet Town, where you can see Pallet Town and like in the distance you see like Cinnabar, that's one of my favorites. The one that she just put out recently, based on Unfinished Swan, is great. It's great. I really love it whenever she does things that are, it's not just like, I'm painting. It's like, I've got to think through this. I've got to do weird stuff. The Splatoon painting and the Earthbound Starman Super painting are the same way, where she had to do the poor stuff. Those are easily some of my favorites.
Are you sure it's not the duck painting?
It's good painting. It's good painting. I remember whenever we were, I say we as if I painted that. I remember when we were working on that. Whenever April Fools would come around and Mal was like, this falls on a Saturday, I should really do something. We discussed it with Chaz, and Chaz was like, "You have to paint duck." And we said, "All right." So Mal did it, and she's like, "So, what do we do?" I was like, "Well, you sell it." And she goes, "The duck painting?" I was like, "You never know." Duck sold. And actually, we've been in contact with the people that bought it, and they actually have it hanging on, like, you come into the house and you don't know it's there, but on your way out, it's next to the door. So you see it before you leave. So, like, you get to spend time with them, and then you get to judge them right at the end. It's like, what is that thing hanging on your wall? Other questions?
This is kind of like a two-part question.
Sure.
Do you ever find the vlog to be a chore? Like, do you ever get to the end of the day, like, and realize you never filmed anything? Is it more like, no, I never filmed anything, or, oh crap, I didn't film anything?
I think the biggest issue is that sometimes the vlog is like, or my life rather, is work. You guys are probably familiar with that a little bit. So a lot of times I wake up and I'm like, gotta work, doop-a-doop-a-doop, and I work, and at the end of the day I'm like, I worked. I should probably make a video. So that definitely, sometimes Searle happens because of that. So that definitely happens. It's never really felt like a chore. I think the only stress that the vlog specifically has brought me is the backlog. And honestly, split timeline is the best thing ever. Let's hear it for the split timeline. Split timeline is great, and it makes me feel good because, even if like the vlogs aren't actively coming out, because I know people have been waiting for like February 1st for a while, at least things aren't falling further behind. So I can always stand, to the side and be like, well, we're only 4 months behind, and it's not turning into 5. So that's a huge plus. But the vlogs don't really ever feel like a chore. I enjoy doing them, and I enjoy the creative freedom that they bring me, more so than the Let's Plays. Because the Let's Plays are like, you're confined within the boundary of the game, unless it's Fallout 4 and you do crazy stuff. But, for most other things, it's, you're just playing the game. And at least at the vlog, if I decide one day, I want to do this ridiculous thing, I can. So that's good. Yeah?
Has there ever been a point where video games have lost their meaning to you?
I don't think so. We try to be extremely selective about the games we play. I want to make sure that if we're choosing a game to play, we're choosing it because we actually want to play it. Again, that's why you get Outlaws, because no one else is going to cover Outlaws, but I'm like, I'll do it. I'll play this old game. So I would say not really, especially because with the schedule that we have, it seems like we're making a lot, but if you're looking at it like on a game-by-game basis, playing a specific game for not a ton of time. You know, like Fallout, I get to play like 90 minutes of that game a week, and I have for 3 years, so it's taken forever, but because of that, it doesn't really lose its charm. Another question? There's a lot of questions. Let's go to you in the hat.
I was wondering, like, how does it feel coming to a convention like this, and there's just so many people that recognize you, and they're just complete strangers?
Well, meeting so many people is humbling, and it continues to be. It has been forever. The idea of like relationships being one-sided is an interesting one. It's something that I've gotten really used to. I think for the most part, people are understanding of that. There's a new YouTube series out that explores like parasocial relationships, where like people watch YouTubers and like they know so many things about them, but the opposite is not true. And it's an interesting dynamic. And sometimes I see people figure that out like when they meet me in person, which is a little awkward for them because, you know, they'll come up and meet me and then they'll say, man, you know, I've watched all your stuff. And then it like dawns on them, they're like, you don't know me. And I'm like, I don't, but I'm willing to now. So it's a different feeling, and it's also very different than traditional celebrities. You know, like you watch Will Smith in a movie, like you don't follow Will Smith eat breakfast. Although I would love to. And as soon as he starts making that content, somebody let me know.
Apparently he vlogs now, or something like that.
So he's close to filming his breakfast, so we're almost there. So it's one of those situations where people these days get to know, you know, YouTube people and Twitch people so much more intimately than ever before. And I mean, the only thing that I lament is that I can't get a chance to meet everyone as intimately as they know me. That's why whenever we come to conventions and stuff, like this is why I come. This is why I came to this, was so I could meet all of you. Like, no offense to the convention or anything like that. It's just I don't get anything out of the convention experience. I've been to PAX like a jillion times. The last few times I don't even go to the show floor because it's the same. The thing that I come for is to meet everyone. That's the joy I get out of it. I like to meet the people who have watched our stuff for years, who, you know, have gotten a chance to know us, and then it's my turn to get a chance to, at least in some small way, know them. So that's what I enjoy. Another question. Jesse.
For your day off, what non-video game or vlog-related stuff, events, challenges do you look forward to doing with Matt or IRL friends?
So non-video game?
Non-media related things.
Because I can think of media that's non-video game. So like one of my long-term goals...
Non-work related, how about that?
Non-work related. I'm going to say it's not work related. One of my long-term goals is to make some music videos. That was a thing that I did a little of in college, and I loved that format. I love being able to record something and not have to worry about audio, because audio sucks. So doing that is a long-term goal. As far as like other challenges and stuff outside of, you know, media, I don't know. Like my entire life revolves around media, and whenever you're like, but what about the not media? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just always thinking about like, what's the next camera, or you know, what's the next video game or whatever. So that's an interesting question. I don't have a good answer for, actually. Another question? Yeah.
Kind of going, I know you released a vlog about this recently, about design is something you're a very big fan of. You strive to do a lot for your channel, for like thumbnails and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of playing off also a bit of an earlier question of how you choose, like, you know, you want to play the game, all that. Because there is such a massive, like, there's been so much increase in Let's Play in the community and Twitch, all that. In order not to have to, like, jump on a craze like Fortnite, Minecraft, you know, all that stuff, what would you say would be a good thing to kind of get, like, a Let's Player who wanted to get started to kind of get noticed? You know, I know it takes a long time. So like,
oh yeah,
do and you get it. But
so first things first, if there's anyone here that is thinking about doing a creative endeavor that involves YouTube or Twitch or some sort of online media, the first thing I want to tell you is go for it. Like, do not hold yourself back. Do not say, well, I don't know how, because you can learn. You know, you already, for example, you may love playing games, and you're like, well, I don't know how to do the technical side. You can learn. It's something that everyone can do. It's something that everyone can become better at. The other thing I would say is that if you're trying to get started doing gaming content specifically, use Twitch. Use Twitch. I hate to say that YouTube is like come and gone, but doing gaming content on YouTube specifically at this point is like near impossible. People got established early on, and like good for them, good for PewDiePie, good for Markiplier. Everyone else, it's so closed doors. I mean, we hold on. You know, we're like, we're gonna do Outlaws because we're crazy, or you know, whatever. But like, we're holding on. But my advice is, if someone's starting fresh, YouTube is not the platform for you. Now, if you want to do anything else that's not gaming, then YouTube's still great. I believe in YouTube. I love it. They do terrible things to us all the time, but I still love them. That's one of them. But you know, if you're doing gaming content, I'd say go to Twitch. My advice would be, do what you want to do. That's really hard, because if you want to get noticed, you have to play Fortnite. So if you love Fortnite, you're great, because right now the world is your oyster. If you don't like Fortnite and you don't want to play Fortnite, then do what you love. And that's my advice, no matter what you're doing, whether you're doing, you know, a beauty channel on YouTube or you're doing gaming on Twitch. Do the thing that you're passionate about, because that passion is going to come through. People want to see what they want to see, but they also want to see someone who like is very passionate about what they're doing. You know, if they tune in and you're playing Fortnite and you're like, yeah, Fortnite, they're going to be like, oh, you know, forget that. But if they see you enjoying Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, one of the greatest games ever made, one of the greatest games ever made. You thought I was going to say Earthbound. I got you. You know, then that's going to come through. The other thing is network with people. I know that's like a buzzword that people throw out, like you should network, but like it's true. Find other channels or other Twitch people. Do they have a name for that? Live Twitchers? Streamers. Find other streamers that, you know, are similar in size to you, doing similar things. Play co-op games with them. Do things that introduce their audience to you, because that is always beneficial. And that scales, you know, like I'm still doing stuff with other people. I'm doing stuff with, you know, Chugga Conroy or Josh Jepson. But even if you're smaller, that sort of thing can help you immensely. So make sure that you're reaching out to other people saying, hey, I know we're doing similar stuff. Maybe we could do a co-op session sometime. And you'd be surprised at how much that sort of thing can help. You had a question. Yep.
What got you started on making videos for YouTube?
How I got started making videos for YouTube. So a long time ago, I've always been interested in video, ever since I was a kid. I don't know why. When I was like 12, I really wanted a video camera. I started making videos with my friends in the neighborhood, and that was, you know, a fun time. As I got older, I decided that apparently I loved making these wacky videos so much that I should pursue that in college. So I went to college, got a Bachelor's of Fine Arts degree in film and television, focusing on editing. And after I did that, I decided that the path that the college really pushes you towards, which is Hollywood, they're like, hey, this is how you do this. This is how you talk to these people. Do all this stuff. Get you ready for Hollywood. Like 2 years into college, I'm like, I don't like this. This is not my jam at all. And I had started to do YouTube stuff because specifically I was an editor, and there was just not enough stuff to edit. And I was like, well, if I start a vlog, you know, that's this cool thing that people are doing. I think I'll start a vlog, and they'll give me some material to edit every day. And then within, you know, a few months, people were more interested in like the wackiness of what was going on with our roommates, because my roommates were crazy, than, you know, the actual like editing portion of it. And it slowly shifted from, you know, this is a thing that I'm using to practice with, to I'm an entertainer, I guess. That's how I got started. It was originally just so I could practice, but it turned into this somehow. So,
Would you recommend going to arts colleges for?
That's a hard question. So, like, let me start by saying this, because I think this is super important and people need to hear it, depending on where you're coming from and who your parents were and what they told you, etc. College is not for everyone. Amen. It's just not, and I mean, it depends, on your family, etc. But you may have the stigma of like, you have to go to college. If you don't go to college, what will you do? There's plenty actually to do, and some people don't want college and they don't need college, and I think that's important to keep in mind. So if you've ever been put in a position where someone has said, like, you have to go to college, or because you didn't go to college, like you're some sort of failure, no, not by a long shot. College is not for everyone. Not everybody requires that for what they need to do. And especially like in the field that I'm working in, and also Hollywood too, like people don't care about your degree. They care about your portfolio. So like if you want to be like a graphic designer, you want to do filmmaking, you want to do any of this stuff, they're not going to be like, okay, but where's your degree? They're going to be like, where's your reel? Where's your portfolio? What design stuff have you done? And that's the thing I've been trying to push more on. Like when people ask this sort of thing during our Q&As, it's like college may not be for you, and that's okay. You may have a path that leads to what you want to do outside of that, and that's cool. And when it comes to art college specifically, I got to tell you, it's real expensive. It's real expensive. And it's something that when I was 18, I did not in any way, shape, or form grasp the magnitude of those numbers. It's like, well, this is how much in debt you're going to be. And I'm like, okay. So, like, I'll just, like, get a job and then I'll pay that off. And they're like, yeah, sign here. Yeah, it's right here. So, it's something that I could not fully appreciate 10 plus years ago. Now you can really appreciate it whenever the bill comes every month. So I would just advise, whether you're looking at any college, but especially an art college, be real sure of what you're doing. Consider the cost. It's immense, and I really don't want to see people be in debt for the rest of their lives. We've been in so much debt for such a long time, and we're still in debt, and we're still going to be in debt for like 10 plus more years, and it sucks. So even things like, if you really want to go to school, consider taking like community college classes at the beginning and getting all the normal crap done.
And financial aid.
Financial aid. I still had that, and it still hurts. But yes, do that. It's one of those things like, do as much as you can for you, because when I was 18, my parents didn't go to college. They didn't have any sort of idea about that sort of thing, and it was a situation where I just didn't understand the magnitude of all of the stuff, and I really wish I had. Would I change it for the world? I mean, no, because I got to meet my friends and I got to do all these great experiences, but also the amount of debt I'm in, is it worth it? Who can say? Because the thing that I'm doing right now, like you can argue, yeah, I mean, having the college experience benefited, but also you can learn stuff on YouTube now. You can learn anything.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like if your car breaks down, you can be like, I can fix that. And like 20 years ago, you'd be like, help. So it's really different. Question.
With the vlog approaching its 10th anniversary this November, do you have any plans for that?
Is it really going to be 10? It'll finish its 9th year, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, is it 9 or is it 10? I don't know. It started. We'll probably buy a cake. Is that the best answer? Yeah. I don't have any like specific plans for it. I'll be honest, I hadn't thought about it. The vlog continues to age, but I'm just thinking like, make video every day. So it's not like,
you've been on the internet for like almost 10 years now, so it's like you have like half your life on the internet. How does it feel, sir?
Let's see, how long? Yeah, like a third.
Ish.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
It's weird. I think the weirdest part for me related to that experience is like when I'll like meet up with family or something, and I'll tell them what's been going on in my life, and they'll say, "We know." And like I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I do that thing. They're like, yeah, you've done it forever. And I'm like, yeah.
This is the second part, but how's your heart doing? I remember you had some issues with your heart a while back.
very super quick version of that. When I was younger, I went to a doctor he didn't diagnose me, but he was like, you probably have this heart condition, Marfan's, this Marfan syndrome. And I kind of, at that point, was like, oh, crap. So I lived my life with the assumption that I had Marfan's. And then I had some heart issues in 2013 that put me in the ER. Don't work too hard. And then I went to a cardiologist, and they did the bajillion tests, and they're like, oh, no, you don't have that. And I'm like, oh, cool. And they're like, so, be good. And I was like, okay. So I'm fine, basically. As far as I know, there's no issues. The only thing I have to watch right now is cholesterol. So I've been trying to eat less bad things.
Like chicken fingers.
It's hard because I live in the South, man. Everyone wants to sell you fried chicken, and I want to eat it. It makes life really difficult.
I can do baked fried chicken.
I mean, I've been trying. There's a lot of places offer the grilled chicken, and sometimes I'll order it, and someone standing next to me will be like, "Wow, good for you," and I'll be like, "Thanks. I deserve a medal." Another question. Let's see. I haven't done one from you.
Favorite game or game series you've worked on?
That I've worked on. So most people probably know Earthbound's my favorite game. As far as favorite game I've worked on though, I love Earthbound. I've also played it for the channel multiple times. Favorite game series I've worked on. I think one that came as a big surprise to me was the Uncharted series, because whenever I went into that series, I had never played it. And I played it mostly on a whim. I was like, yeah, sure, it's like Tomb Raider, but with a guy. And it is kind of like Tomb Raider with a guy, but it's really good. Some people don't like it because they say it's, quick time events. Okay. But it's great. I really enjoy the story of all of the games. In particular, don't anyone spoil anything, but the fourth one is so good. And the impact of the ending of that game, if you've played the first four, is so strong. It's so good. So if you haven't played the Uncharted series, they're not terribly long. Devote some time to it. It's phenomenal. That might be one of the favorite ones I've worked on. Yep.
Okay, so staying on the game topic, what do you think is going to be the best upcoming game for the Switch?
Smash. So the problem with the Wii U is that no one bought any. I mean, I'm sure many of you in this room, during the gaming convention, bought the Wii U, but the Wii U didn't sell very well, and as a result, there's still a ton of people that missed out on Smash 4, and I love Smash 4. Everyone's got their favorite, and there's people that they're going to be buried with their copies of Melee. But Smash 4 is great. Am I allowed to say I played Smash 5? I just did. So I got to play a little of. I got to play about an hour of Smash 5, and it's really good, and you should buy it. So it's great.
That's all I need. Have you ever had anybody up in arms about not wanting to be on the vlog?
Well, no one's ever been up in arms. Generally, if for hanging out with a new friend or something. Well, for the most part, people know what I do. So, if they don't want to be on the vlog, they don't hang around me. But there's been times where if I'm meeting someone for the first time or whatever, I'll say, is it okay if I put you on the vlog? And there's been maybe 2 times where someone's like, no, and I'm like, all right. So then they're just inexplicably not there or something. But we film it in such a way where no one would know. And actually, my memory's terrible, so I just forget. So if I talk to them later, they'll be like, remember whenever we hung out that one time? And they'll be like, no, I don't. Another question. Way in the back. Yep.
Can we expect more D&D content?
Yes.
I love D&D. I absolutely love D&D. The problem with D&D is that, well, there's nothing wrong with D&D. The problem with our lives is that everything has been so crazy for so long that trying to schedule something like that is just the most impossible thing in the world. But specifically, there's it's an official one that came out. It's Vampires for 5th edition. Someone knows. What is it?
Curse of Strahd.
Yes, Curse of Strahd. That's we had started to plan that we were going to do that because we had there was a viewer that had sent us a bunch of stuff related to that. So we had the special the deck of cards and the special board and everything. So at some point I'd still love to do it. I'm hoping that things start to calm down. I'm making moves in my life to make things better. In other words, taking Sundays off, like that's like a move in the right direction. So hopefully at some point we'll do it. But the official answer is I love D&D. It's great. Everyone should play it. If you have kids, start them young. It builds imagination. If you're old, keep playing it. It keeps imagination. I don't know. It's just such a fantastic experience. I'm going to get you. Yep.
I have a two-part question.
Sure.
When you have to buy a new piece of equipment,
Yeah.
how do you go about researching the pros and the cons and features and stuff like that? And the second part of that question, specifically for a camera, what features do you absolutely have to have?
All right. So the question was, so everyone hears it. Whenever I'm buying a new piece of equipment, how do I research that? And then specifically for cameras, like a vlogging camera, what am I looking for? Or any kind of camera. Research, so where I am in the industry, which is a weird word for YouTube, but where I am in the industry, I'm on all sorts of like email lists that I didn't ask to be on, but here we are. So a lot of times I get emails just sent to me and they're like, AverMedia is coming out with a new 4K 60 HDR recording thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. So a lot of times it just comes to me now. If there's stuff in particular I'm looking for, occasionally I'll just have a moment where I'm working on something and I'm like, can this be easier? And I'll research and be like, is there a thing that does this? And I'll like just start going down a rabbit hole, which is always dangerous. And Mal is always like, what are you doing? It's time for bed. Did you finish scheduling the stuff? And I'm like, no, but I learned about the new Elgato. It's just like, please stop doing this. That's a common problem. As far as the cameras, I'll tell you what I'm looking. So we've been using a Panasonic GH4. We're using it right now. Everyone turn and wave at Mao and the camera. You're on StephenVlog. We've been using Panasonic GH4 to record Mao Makes. We bought it specifically for Mao Makes. We bought it also to use for like Q&As and mail. And our problem has been Mal has everything set up for Mal Makes, and we're like, cool, Mal Makes, yeah. Don't touch the camera. And then it's like, well, we really need to record mail, but we can't because Mal Makes is in progress. Despite the fact that it looks like she paints them in 2 minutes, it takes her 10 to 14 days on each of her pieces, so it takes a long, long time. Yes, I will always encourage applause for my wife. So it takes a long time, and we can't tear the camera down because we have all the settings, we have the angle, and everything's perfect. So we've really needed a second camera, and I have been in the market for a camera for some time, for a few months, and I've been like, what are we going to get? Because for anyone who maybe missed the vlog, Panasonic really screwed me over.
Yeah.
My camera was under warranty, and I was like, hey, there's a minor thing. Can you fix this? And they're like, no. And I was like, oh, okay, great. Yeah, it's been abused. So I got to tell you, if I'm being really honest, the Panasonic GH5 is a fantastic camera. The problem is Panasonic. So I've been like, who is going to be able to make a camera that does the things I want to do? And the answer right now looks to be Blackmagic, who I actually used a capture card for like years ago. They make cameras. They do really amazing stuff, especially at the price points. And there's a camera releasing next month called the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K because mouthfuls are fun. And that's right now the one we're looking at getting. As far as the vlog camera, which I ran into a lot of you earlier, so you probably saw this. But if not, I'm going to record this too. This is the vlog camera. If you weren't on the vlog before, now you are again. I really love this camera. It is also a Panasonic. Darn them, they're so good. I hate to love them. This is the LX10. There's a few things I look for in a vlog camera. I had never used a flip-up screen until like a year and a half ago. Turns out it's like the best thing ever. Did you know that you can like see yourself with these? That's great. Like all this time I've been like, hi guys, and just filming the ceiling. But actually when you can see stuff, you can frame it a lot better. And I think that the composition of the vlog has gotten better in the last 18 months because of it. Other things I look for, audio that's not awful, which is kind of hard just because the mics on these cameras are like pinholes, so they don't work very well. Hopefully the next vlog camera will have like a mic input, so I can put like a tiny little like shotgun mic on it. The other thing is if you're looking for, and that's another reason this camera's so good, if you're looking for that really cool cinematic blurry background bokeh effect, you want a really open aperture. This one goes to 1.4, which is insane for this camera. Like the ones that we've used in the past are like 3.5, and this is 1.4, and it's great. The downside is that you have to be careful because you could like barely move the camera and everything's out of focus. So you have to get really good about having a steady arm. Those are kind of the big ones for me. Also being able to record a certain amount of time. This will record up to 15 minutes at once, and I like that. There's a Sony one that's always been really good, but it records 5 minutes. And I'm like, but what if what I want to record is 6 minutes? So that's been a problem. But those are like the main things that I look for in a camera. Also, these things are great. I'm going to advertise this company because I like them a lot. If you use a little pocket camera, you might want to consider getting one of these. This is a little wind filter. They call them dead cats in the industry. I'm sorry, I have cats, I love them. These are not made from actual cats, but there's a company called Micromuff, which is kind of a lewd name, but you put a little Velcro thing on the top of the camera, and then when you're outside you don't get as much wind noise. They're great. This is like 15, 20 bucks. There's like one person making them in England, and they have to ship them to you, and it takes a month, but they're really fantastic.
They shave all the cats in England.
Yeah, maybe they are shaving cats in England. I don't know. Yep.
On the topic of the aging vlog, now that it's almost 10 years old,
Yep.
how do you see yourself in 10, 20 years when you are NTS's age and still in game content for the vlog? You know?
Don't you dare
4
say
minutes.
old.
Old. I mean, like, so I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing because, like, when I started the vlog, I didn't expect to do it forever. Like, I mean, anyone who was either taking the journey or was watching way back then remembers I was like, I'm going to do Nintendo Speaks. Spoilers, I didn't. So, like, just knowing that, like, things can change. I have no idea what I'll be doing. There's a very real possibility that, like, we may become more Twitch focused, you know? That's where the industry is headed. That's where we're going to start getting a foothold there probably like next month. I know patrons may have seen like some of the Patreon videos where we talked about that. I'll let everyone know here for being at the convention. We're looking at starting to do Twitch streaming hopefully next month with like the weirdest idea ever where we do a morning show eating breakfast. Because I'm pretty sure that's what you do for Twitch. Like you eat food. Yeah, it's like that's what you do. And some people play games on it, but we would be like eating toast.
I put butter in the bread before you put it in toast or
no butter. I got a cholesterol issue now. No more butter. No more butter.
You get that idea from Will Smith as he was talking.
He is welcome on my stream anytime. We're down to just a few minutes left, so I'm going to take some questions from people who have not had the questions. Yes, you there. Yeah.
What is your favorite licensed game and why?
My favorite licensed game?
Yeah.
That's... I don't know. Okay, this is weird, but this is like the first thing that came into my mind, so I'm going to let it come out of my mouth. The Spider-Man game for GameCube?
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because when I was a kid and Blockbuster still existed, I rented games from Blockbuster all the time. And there was one day, I'm not a comic book guy, I'm not into that culture, but I went and saw the Spider-Man movie, and then the game came out, and I was like, I watched that movie, that was cool. So I played it, and it was great. You can like swing through New York City. Is it New York City? I think it's New York City. I don't know anything about Spider-Man. And it was like such an interesting, like freeing feeling. It was like whenever I was a kid and getting a chance to like fly in Super Mario Brothers 3 or Super Mario World, like that new interesting feeling. But like I'd never played a game where you were swinging through the city. That was just super incredible to me. So that's a weird answer, but might be my favorite licensed game.
The PlayStation 4 game is coming out.
Yeah, I had a lot of people telling me about that, and I was like, I might play that at some point. Yeah, I might do it first 20. Mal, do we have time for another question?
I mean, it's 1:45, so.
So one more? Okay. Yes.
What
My favorite moment from playing Tulip was getting a chance to experience one of Mallory's favorite games of all time with Mallory. Aww. We have to leave on an aw. All right, 3? What? Woo! Praise Will Smith. All right. Then we're going to keep answering questions. I'm cool with that. Right here.
What happened to the heels that you got? I gotta know.
I think we did not get rid of them because something's wrong with us. I think they're in our garage, actually. I wasn't really sure where to display women's heels that fit neither myself nor my wife, so I think they're in the garage right now. Yeah.
I hate to do this, but when are we going to get drag vlog? I'm sorry, I am pitching this right now.
There are weird ideas that could happen at some point in the future. Maybe I will do a drag-related vlog, or maybe I'll be on the show, RuPaul's show.
RuPaul's Drag Race, be on it.
Yeah. If anyone has any connections, just set me up, and then I'll consider it. Yeah.
How are you enjoying Avatar?
Ooh, don't anyone spoil the show, because I'm going to tell you where we're at. We've been watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's good. It's really good. The thing that it does right so well is world building. Holy crap. Like, in a very short amount of time, like, I'm there, man. I'm like, oh, so you can do this and you can do that. It's like they did a really good job. They did, in a few episodes, what like Dragon Ball took forever to do. There's also like not filler, which is like a new concept to me. Because I just assumed that there's going to be 7 episodes of screaming. And there's not, and that's really weird. I don't know how to take that. Yeah.
Okay, this one's kind of weird. It's 2-parter depending on the answer to the first.
Sure.
And this one's kind of a hard question to grasp in the first place.
Sure.
If you had the free time
okay.
to explore a hobby like speedrunning video games or whatever, would you? And if so, what game would you speedrun?
I'm sure a lot of people would expect Earthbound, but I wouldn't do Earthbound just because that game's crazy. Speedrunning Earthbound is nuts. There's, in all of the different categories, there's so many different little things that you can do to make it go faster, and they all take hours and hours and hours. I think I would probably rep DKC 1. Donkey Kong Country, the entire series, it might be my second favorite game series. I love Earthbound, but the Donkey Kong games are good. They were good, and they kept getting better, which is mind-blowing. Like, Tropical Freeze is the best Donkey Kong Country game.
Yes.
People, like, I know there will be some people that are like, wait, 2, and you're right. They can all be amazing. But Tropical Freeze is incredible. And when you start going back and you look at all of them, they're all great. How did they do that? Like, just nonstop, like, they kept putting out some of the best games ever. But I'd probably do that. Especially because it's not a huge time sink. Because I would hate to start the run and then get like 4 hours in and be like, oh, I meant to do this. Well, reset. So I'd rather not do that.
Long live King K. Rool.
That's another reason. That's another reason Smash is going to be fantastic. Megan. Yes. I'm an archivist just by nature. If the app that angers me so much is Snapchat. Because Snapchat, by its definition, is just destructive. It's like, take a picture in time and then lose it forever. And I remember Mal would get like this was a long time ago when Snapchat first came out. She was like, oh, check it out. It's a picture of my grandma that my cousin took. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And it's gone. I was like, what do you mean it's gone? She goes, oh, it's Snapchat. And I was like, what does that mean? She goes, well, you send a picture and you see it and then you don't see it ever again. And I was like, wait, we're building this infrastructure of cloud computing where we can store everything forever and we're making apps that destroy things. Why are we doing this? So, yeah, I will be archiving everything. Like one of the biggest regrets that I have is when we did Extra Life that one year and parts of the stream were missing. Yeah. Like, it still haunts me. So I'm going to be doing everything in my effort to make sure that everything is saved and viewable whenever, because I think that if we're building towards this future where we can, save everything that we should, and that applies to our stuff as well.
Does that mean we can see the toast video, like your morning breakfast show, like on YouTube when it's archived?
That's the plan. And like if we were able to get whatever it's Twitch, is it partnership that lets you save videos or whatever? As long as there's a way to save them. Maybe if they were saved on Twitch, then they would just be on Twitch, but they would be saved. That would be the primary thing. If Twitch is going to auto-delete my stuff, I'm going to be like, nope, give me that. I'll put that on YouTube, so it'll be saved somewhere. Yeah.
What's been like this most surreal moment? This is my life.
There's a lot of those. There's a lot of different times where we're doing something like it could be like really cool, like when we traveled to Japan and I got to meet some people may have not seen that vlog. I got to meet the creator of Earthbound. That was an incredible experience. So like that is definitely a moment. Like I'm standing, like me and Toby Fox, creator of Undertale, we're standing next to each other, meeting the creator of Earthbound, and I'm like, this is my life. Okay. That's not what I expected. I'm supposed to still be working on Nintendo Speaks. So like there's things like that, and then there's other things where like I've just finished filming Searle. And like Mao is like, okay, but what was that you just did? And I'm like, I don't know what my life is, Mao. So it's like two ends of the spectrum, really. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are becoming Breath of the Wild in the future, right? Have you managed to avoid most of the spoilers?
I have, actually. We're going to be playing Breath of the Wild. I'm going to tell you kind of like a loose layout of what the plan is. Fallout's almost over, which is the weirdest thing to say ever. Yeah, I'm happier than all of you combined. I love that series, but holy cow, 3 years is a long time. That's almost over. When that ends, right now it looks like we're actually, so I can get a bit of a break, we're going to put the Doomsday Heist there, because that's like a good, that's done, and it's great. It's great. I just finished watching it because me, Dan, Taylor, and Alex go through it. I film my screen and Dan films his, so we can jump back and forth. And he edited the whole thing. I watched through it's like 4 or 4.5 hours. I watched through all of it, and it's just great. He did. Huh?
Is Alex's Buick coming back?
You will see the Browning-mobile, so that'll be in there. So that's probably going to give me a little breathing room, and then we're going to bring back The Sims for a season. Going to do like 10 episodes of that, and then we're going to go from there into Breath of the Wild. But I have managed to stay basically spoiler-free, and it's been remarkably easy because when a lot of people were talking about Breath of the Wild, it was like a long time ago when the game came out, and I was just like, ignore it. And now, people still play it, but it's not anywhere near as prevalent as it was. So I've been very fortunate to know very little. I know that you can surf on your shield.
And you can multiple horses like Lucashin did.
Oh yeah, Dan did a thing where like he named a horse. I'm looking at Mount, and she's like, I don't know.
Spotbutt.
Yeah, Spotbutt. There was a brief moment where I was like, no one will know, and then we had answers. Thank you.
Do you know the time frame of when it will go from Fallout to Doomsday to?
Fallout. So like Fallout probably has realistically like 5 episodes left. The problem is the time between now and getting the next episode out is going to be a while. I don't know why, Nora, but it's going to take a bit of time to get her through all of Far Harbor and Nuka World. So once we get that done, we'll be finishing up Fallout and moving on. So I would say September or so. So now we have 5 minutes for real? Okay. Yes?
This is kind of a weird question.
Sure.
Why don't we ever see you, actually working?
Oh!
Because, the vlog goes from, I have work to do, to the next clip of, I have work, and it's 3 hours later. Why don't we ever see you actually working?
A time lapse.
Because I'm actually, I'm a robot, and there's 6 of me, and they're back home working right now. Honestly, that was something I read in a comment a few days ago, 2 weeks ago. It might have been yours, and it dawned on me. It was maybe you should film some of that sometimes, because I get so in the zone. I sit down and work time. And then it's work's over, and then I do something else. I'm going to try and make a conscious effort to do that a little bit more, where I just put the camera on a tripod and just shoot a little bit so you can see. Or like if I'm doing a recording, I've shown in the past a little bit of like me, like while I'm doing commentary, to see what it looks like, you know, when I'm recording Fallout or whatever. People know what it looks like when I do Morning Mario, but...
Or even just video of you, like, not speaking, just editing the video.
That's a specific video I've wanted to make or remake for a while. It's like my editing process.
Yeah.
I haven't done that in a long time, and there's an old one from like 2011 or something, and I went back and watched it, and I'm like, this is wrong! This is all wrong! Steven, you're doing this wrong! And I remember watching it and thinking, holy crap, that was when I came out of college? I can do so much better now. So I really want to make an updated video, and doing some of these like behind the scenes videos, like the thumbnail design, like that's kind of my way of getting started into doing those sorts of videos every once in a while. Yeah.
Okay. When was the time frame when you realized that YouTube was actually it provided a good amount of income?
It's like when did I realize that I could make it a career?
Yeah.
Okay, so the quick version of that is I started to do YouTube in college, obviously, and I remember that I became a YouTube partner, because it used to be you couldn't, well, it's back to that way now, isn't it? Where you have to like do certain requirements to be a partner.
Yeah.
But it used to be you had to like be a partner before you could have monetization. And the vlog got monetization exactly 1 year in, which was the coolest anniversary ever. I was like, I can make money! And then it was like, here's some pennies. And I was like, best thing ever! And I remember from the time that I got monetization, which was in November, the way YouTube worked, and probably still works, I don't know, is that you have to get $100 before they'll pay you. And I got my first YouTube check in April, so it took 6 months. It took 6 months to make $100, which, you know, it's not a lot of money, but it represented something. It was like, this is like a thing that exists now. You know, in our time, you can do this. And if you could do it at a greater scale, it could be, you know, an actual career. So that was 2010, November 2010 that I got monetization. April that I got that first check. Then flash forward to August, a few months later, Mal and I got married, moved to Columbia. And, you know, it's starting to build up a little bit. I'm getting maybe by August, I'm probably getting like a check a month. So it's like $100 a month, which is better than, you know, $20 a month, but it's still not money. But whenever we moved to Columbia and we were looking for, or Mal moved to Columbia because she had a job there. I came along because I married her. And I was looking for work, and there was just, I couldn't find any. You know, I kept looking and it was nothing in my field, and I was like, this is really upsetting, but I'm looking at these analytics and like, it's growing. This is the thing that could be a career. And I remember talking to Mal about it and being like, hey, so I know that I've been looking for work. How about if I didn't? And the fact that she didn't walk out the door then means that she's my true blue soulmate. But I did. I showed her the analytics. I said, the channel's growing. Things are growing. Like, it's going to be a rough year and a half. But if we can hold on, I think, you know, things will work out. So we held on, and with her permission and her support, we kept going, and it worked out. But that was around the time period that happened. And I'll tell you, that year in Columbia is a blur to me, and it was also super rough. That was, especially coming out of college and then being like, all right, you owe, what's the bills? It's like, I think I personally owed $1,100 every month from student loans. So we'll just go back to that thing earlier when talking about college. Really consider if you need it, really consider where you go, really consider the other classes, because that's an insane amount of money. So yeah, we survived. After depleting our savings entirely, and then slowly over the course of several years building it back up. Anyway, are we out of time?
Yes.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate all of you coming out and coming to this convention and coming to this panel. It really meant the world to me. This is the first time I've done anything like this. I've been on panels. I've never done a panel. So this was great. And I'm glad that there were so many of you that were already familiar with the content. We could just chat like friends and do it that way. All right. Go buy video games.